back on the Dumont again. Unfortunately, I lost some video footage of the initial power up that I did just after installing most of the tubes. And what happened was the chassis powered up and all the voltages seemed to be correct. I unplugged the set, and when I plugged it back in moments after, it wouldn't do anything. And I thought, well, dead. I mean, it was just completely dead, nothing. And so I checked the power switch. Power switch was okay, and of course I traced the wiring, couldn't find anything, and the last thing I checked, of course, was the fuse. And fuse had blown. So with trepidation, I bypassed the fuse with a jumper lead, very thin gauge. So I mean, if anything happened, the thing would have probably just gone open. It's so cheap. But the chassis did power up, and everything seemed to be okay. So I'm going to try to step back through this and reproduce what I can. With I'm just going to leave that out here. See, I've got everything reinstalled now. I did find that one of these tubes was bad when I went to reinstall it, so I've got that on order. And again, unfortunately, I won't be able to do a full high voltage DC check on this without that tube installed, but I should be able to see if the horizontal output stage is functioning. So flip this thing over, back over. Okay, and again, I just have the focus coil bypassed so that the B supply is working. And this is the quality fuse I have installed. Actually, I kind of forget what we're supposed to go here. Now it's that wire goes to the fuse holder. Okay. And then this wire. Alright, it's this one here. It's the top or the bottom one. Oh, I was looking at that. Okay, so it's that. Right there. Okay. And get a nice good ground there. And attach these wires here. Should be good. Okay. I'm surprised at how quickly these rectifiers seem to warm up. It only took like a second from just completely cold. Okay. So yeah, that's a more realistic B voltage setting, because before I think I actually measured it down here. It was close to 440 volts, but now that all the tubes are installed and there's a load, I'm getting about 220. So as to why the fuse blew, I have no idea. Maybe it was just old. Let that sit for a minute. A couple of the components I sort of had to fudge on this. This was a 0.2 at 1,000 volts, and I substituted a couple of 0.47s at 630 in there, so technically that ends up being like a, what, a 0.22 at 1,200 volts would be just fine. And same with this. This was like a 1,000 volt mica, and so I just put a couple of 500 volt rated silver dipped micas in there. Should be okay. Well, the chassis standing by okay. B voltage is consistent. to try next, let's put the vertical oscillator tube back in. Not having a yoke installed, I don't think it's going to affect it. If it works, I'm not going to leave it plugged in that long. It's going to be hard on the vertical output transformer. Okay. Oh, I hear the vertical. I don't know if that's coming through on the microphone, but I do hear the. It sounds correct when I did the soft start on this chassis initially. I could hear the vertical come up, but it was a little inconsistent, like it was galloping. Like the vertical frequency was way off. That sounds healthy to me right there. Yeah, I'm hoping that's coming through. Okay, well, yeah. Let's try putting the horizontal. Oh, wait a minute. No. That thing broke off. It's got this coupler on it to combine both of the plates from both of the output tubes. Yeah, so I might have to do a little repair there to get those guys working. I don't want to install just the tubes and leave the plate caps disconnected, because it'll bake those tubes in real short order. So let's try to fix this and give it a try. Okay, got that sort of repaired. It's funny, I didn't even notice this before. I noticed the difference in the size of the output tubes. This has been replaced with a later G-style globe as opposed to the old GT style. But somebody had to break the phenolic here in order to get that thing to mate up. The tubes test okay. I'm not thrilled about the two different types in there. I may try to find another a GT, GC. Another GT style tube to put in here for authenticity's sake. So that's live, assuming the horizontal oscillator is going to work. I'm going to keep an eye on these tubes to make sure they don't red plate. And I'm not going to get I'm not going to get any voltage out of this, but I might be able to do an arc test right there, or an arc test right there, see if there's any juice. Let's see. Oh, heard a fizzle down there. This stage is definitely making some noise now. In fact, it sounds real hot. I'm a trifle scared to try to do anything there. But stand way back. Oh, man, yeah. Oh, yeah. So with only one side of that working, that's a voltage doubler. So it's probably only about 6,000, 6,500 volts. And it's funny, this was made before they were winding flybacks for really high voltages. It was just more economical for them to use a traditional winding on this, about 6,000 volts, and just throw a doubler on there to double the voltage to the 12, 13K this needs. Something is fizzling. I don't know what it is. What is that?
all I needed to see. What is that? What the heck? Oh, it looks like the sheath of that wire got heated up when I soldered that cap in, and it's trying to arc through that. Lovely. I think it's a vertical output stage. There it is. Get that away. Okay. Well, now, I see something else going on there. What is that? It's like a... Focus. Looks like a little piece of a cap leg or something lodged in there. Yep. That's what happens. Okay. Yeah, both those stages sound real healthy. The vertical oscillator sounds like it's spot on frequency-wise, and then the horizontal sounds like it's... I mean, I can barely hear it. It's up there, but it's loud enough. Probably get the spectrum analyzer on it. Well, I need a different camera. Anyway. Yeah. Sounds healthy. Excuse me. I don't know if we've got any signal to tune here. Give it a try. Got no antenna on it. It doesn't seem to be. Oh, maybe. Is it changing? I can't tell. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to press this thing. No yoke on it. Okay, it's looking even better. Found another 6BG6 to go in here, so at least I got a matched pair now. And not that anyone's going to see it, because it's going to be underneath the high voltage gauge, but, well, I know it's there. And another thing I found was that the resistor that was used to bridge these two points, basically these two plate caps are coupled into this joint right here, which goes down to the input of the flyback. The original component was a 68 ohm resistor, and somebody threw a 20 ohm resistor in there on that side, so that wasn't even correct. I went ahead and put the 68 ohm back. And that looks kind of meh, but it's better than it was. Hopefully that'll work better too. Okay, the high voltage rectifier just showed up. Be careful putting this back in, because I think it was okay when I first removed it, but this thing was so tight on the cap here that it broke it off when I pulled it out to test it. Of course, it just went to air. So with this, maybe we'll get some high voltage to be able to light up that picture tube. There it is. Okay. This is the screwiest retention conductor system I've ever seen. It presses on and then it secures with a bolt, basically. tighten it from this side. Right through there. Focus. Wait, I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, oh, there it is. So that should be good. Let me tighten that up. Got the tube secured. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in and see what happens. Okay. Oh yeah. That's nice and strong. That's what I want to see. I think it's about time to slide this chassis back in and see if we get a picture. Yeah, before I put that chassis back in, I'm going to just take a minute and real gently go over this thing and try to clean as much of the dust off as possible. Not that it'll make a functional difference, but the rest of the set's clean, so clean this thing up. And see what I can do with this diaper here. See if I can, looks like it was held to the tube with masking tape that has just since dried out and failed. Oh, the thing's got numbers on it or something. Tell them what that is. But yeah, see if I can clean this thing up and re-adhere this. Yeah, I think it's okay. It just needs to be slid up. Yeah, I'm getting most of this cleaned out with a paintbrush, but you know what I don't want to do is bring an air compressor in here and start cleaning up, blowing all the dust around in here, because I really want to try to minimize the amount of dust that gets stuck between the face of the tube and the safety glass, because that's going to require me to pull the CRT out, and there's no reason to do that right now. So try to avoid that, but just yeah, stick to the damp cloth and paintbrush method, and then maybe wipe it down with some glass cleaner. Should be okay. Yeah, that cleaned up nicely. Just ran the damp cloth around the base of the the mounting plane to the chassis, and resecured the diaper there with some gaffer's tape. And this thing is about ready for the chassis. Chassis is installed. It's not secured. It's just sort of slid in there, and picture tube is connected. I don't have the high voltage cage on yet. I don't need to put that on immediately. And the knobs are slid onto the front. Power switch is on. Brightness is not sure. Let's see where it's at here. Brightness. Okay, that was turned down. Contrast, kind of middle-ish, I guess. Power switch is on. Function selector is set to TV. Focus is, yeah, I don't know where. Okay, let's see what happens. I've got the world's cleanest mirror here. All right.
think anything's happening. Well, I can hear the high voltage. Oh, high voltage lead came unplugged. Well, that would
Definitely affect it. All right. Can't see. Squat back here. Whoa. He still had a charge in it. On the output side, not on the tube side. That's unusual. Probably that voltage doubler that's storing a little bit of juice in that cap. Glad I checked it. Glad I checked it. Whoa. Still holding energy.
all right. That's sort of set on there. I don't want to touch that right now. But try it now.
Okay, heard the CRT.
Voltage come up. There doesn't appear to be anything.
Okay.
Oh, whoa. What happened? What did I do? That thing have a time delay circuit in it or something? Very strange.
That's encouraging. Boy, look how bright that is. That is something. Man. Man, oh man. Focus is working. Zero that in. Right about there. And then, okay, brightness is functioning. Contrast. Oh yeah. Oh, interesting. Looks like the contrast control's dirty. That's what's going on there. Okay, it's cleaning up. I flushed all those controls. No, wait a minute. I couldn't get to this control. Yeah, that's right. Looks like there's something trying to come through there. Try the tuner. Nothing. Okay. I think there are two television settings here. Oh, I see. One television setting turns the dial lamp on and one turns it off. That's all that does. Okay, let's leave it on. Yeah, I can see some video information coming through there. It looks like it's real weak and the horizontal sync is off.
Yeah, I can smell ozone coming out of here. It's probably that high voltage connection there I don't have attached completely. It's ion trap. That was kind of a luck of the draw. I just stuck that ion trap back on there after cleaning the tube. Get that right. It's coming in the ballpark already. There, get rid of the shadow on the corner. There, start to lose brightness a little bit. It's funny, you never know what you're going to get with these little like cottage industry rebuilt picture tubes. Because usually they were some independent operation back in the day, and if you read the like radio and television trade magazines back during this time, the 40s and 50s, especially the television trade magazines, there were outfits who were offering CRT rebuilding equipment on installment plans. So, you know, your hometown TV repair shop could put together a CRT rebuilding operation and be pretty, try to make money. But it is such a delicate art. It's something that's difficult to do. Well, let me put it this way. It's not an easy process to rebuild a picture tube. And so the ones that were rebuilt by the independents back in the day are kind of questionable. And, you know, I've never heard of a Style Master picture tube. I mean, that's kind of funny, actually. But it seems like the cathode's in good condition. I already established that. But the fact that I have to pull this ion trap almost back onto the tube socket in order to get a bright picture on there with no shadow is kind of not surprising. But if that's the worst that I have to put up with, then I mean, it's not even noteworthy. Just put it where it's going to function and leave it. But vertical linearity looks like it's off. Clean these things. Okay, what is that? I think that's height. It's almost too bright for the camera. There we go. Something I can film there. Okay, this is vertical size. That is working. This is horizontal drive. Yeah, you can see the horizontal drive line there. Set the horizontal drive. You turn it all the way up until you get that drive line, and then turn it back just until it disappears. Vertical hold. Yeah, that seems a little slow there. Right. But this linearity control, like I said, I thought I went through and I lubed these controls up and cleaned them, and I can't turn that with my fingers. Might not have to. It might be the just correct setting. Just leave it alone. That's it for panel settings. Oh wait, no, there's this one here. What's that do? It's got to be a horizontal hold control here. That's what that is. Yeah, I'm not gonna fuss with that without a signal. So far, so good. The next thing I need to figure out is how to get a signal into this. It's got this funny, it looks like an RCA style connector, but it's RF. I'm sure I can fudge something to feed into that. At this point, all I really have is raster. I don't have any video signal at all. And it's still looking like there might be a semblance of a very weak video signal in there somewhere. When I advance the contrast quickly, it momentarily appears and fades off. So I'm wondering if it's possibly got a AGC issue. Unfortunately, that AGC gain control is pretty much directly right beneath the CRT, so it's going to be next to impossible, if not deadly, to try to adjust that with a set on. I did shut it off, turn it a little bit, turn it back on, and there's no difference. So I'm going to try to wiggle some tubes around here. Video output. If I get anything here. Oh, I wiggled that tube right out of the socket. Yeah. I can't really see what's going on there. What tube was that? That was
was the video detector. It was already loose.
Yeah, that's slightly better. Okay. Working on this live with one hand holding a camera is not the smartest thing for me to be doing right now. Well, I think I bent some of the pins on that tube. Stand by. Okay, got the tube back in the socket. Also plug the speaker back in. That might help with the diagnostic. Okay.
Try the IF tubes here. Nothing. Nothing. The fact that there's nothing on screen, just, I would think even if these tube sockets were clean, that I'd get some static or something when I wiggled them. Tells me that the video could be dropping out at a very late stage. There's just nothing at all. Pull the tubes back in. Yeah. I've got the pattern generator connected. It's a little kind of a mobile pocket version, and that's not correct. It'll work, but technically you're feeding I'm feeding a 300 ohm signal into a 75 ohm coax, and you know it's not going to be perfect, but it should be strong enough to be able to get some kind of picture and sound. But it'll be have some interference in it. Not audio. I hear control noise, but I don't hear anything else. The FM radio works. No. Interesting. It's like the tuner's dead or something. Oh wait, is that phono? Oh, there's FM. No, there's nothing. Okay. Forgot I ordered a replacement tube for the tuner, and I just replaced that, and now, hey, got something. It's trying to come through on, what channel is that? Channel 6-ish? I think that's a reflection or something. Okay. That thing broadcasts. Ooh. That's looking pretty good. What is that? That's on channel 5. Let's take it down, take it down, take it down. Oh yeah. That thing's just hardwired to output on channel 3. Go all the way down there and see what happens. I messed with the AGC control, so it may be turned up way too high now. It looks like it's trying to come in and then just flattens out the signal. How weird. It's like you get right there and then it just goes away. Yeah, it'll come up on the signal, and as soon as it appears,
sort of appear for a second and then go away. Let's try the next channel up, channel 4. It's like it's too strong and the AGC kicks in and just throttles it back. If I'm getting an echo on channel 4, it's quite a bit weaker, so the AGC wouldn't necessarily respond that way immediately. That's kind of what it looks like. Yeah, and plus the sound's turned all the way up and there's just nothing. So somewhere that audio signal's getting lost. Huh. So either 3 or 4. I'm pretty sure that, like I said, that little handheld signal generator is on channel 3. Let's pull back the contrast quite a bit and try it again. Channel 3. Come on, come on. Same thing. All the way up. That could be it right there. The indicator says it's in no man's land. It's between 3 and 4. That doesn't mean that that dialed pointer is accurate. Strong signal here and ooh, right there. Let's see if we can rope in the sync here. Okay. Horizontal. It's in the ballpark. Oh yeah. Vertical. Old. Well, I'll be damned. Seems a little critical to me. I've got about an 1/8 of a turn lock range. That could also be on the wrong channel too. Horizontal drive. That drive line. Yeah. Okay. Also, if it's too contrasty, the sync signals will all go to hell. Pull that back a little bit and try taking it back down to channel 3 here. Huh. Yeah, there's really not a whole lot there. Thing is dancing all over the place. Look at that. Comes in again on channel 5. Let's just go back to this. Okay. Contrast doesn't affect the sync. It's actually the mark of a pretty good circuit. Cheaper sets sometimes used. The AGC control wasn't, I mean, the contrast did nothing more than draw the AGC voltage around. Okay. Yeah, now it won't sync. What happened? Let's try that. Crosshatch. Boy, look at that. That locked in rock solid.
Focus. It's funny that throws the sync around because those circuits don't interact unless that dirty control is just introducing transients to the main power bus, which is probably most likely because that's right at the front end of it. Yeah, that's not too bad. These lines aren't that sharp. I don't think that. I think the IF needs to be aligned because that could be indicative of loss of bandwidth. So we can fine tune it out. Oh, there we go. It's not bad. Makes the sync a little critical if I fine tune it to sharpest picture, but there's a gap at the top.
What is going on with that? It's on hold. Set it more in the center of the range. How about that?
Let's see if this is critical. No. That's actually all right. Oh no. Starting to get, there it is. Yeah, I'm not touching it. It looks like it's starting to drift again. Let's contrast all the way up, contrast all the way down. That slipping from right to left, that's a AFC issue. It's not a sync issue. Horizontal AFC, I mean. Try to eliminate that gap at the top.
The picture needs to, the whole thing needs to be shifted up. That's all the vertical size I can get out of it right there. And it way overlaps on the bottom and not quite meets the top. So I think I'll have to adjust the yoke on this, or, oh, what, the focus ring, I think. So this yoke has a adjustment.
It's just not, because this can be moved around, but it affects focus.
That yoke looks pretty stationary to me.
Well, I think first thing I'm going to do is put the high voltage cover back on, because that stage is where stop being bombarded by X-rays. Okay, I'm going to come back to this later. It looks like, I mean, the video seems to be coming through pretty well. It's got this issue where it will spuriously sort of slip to one side. I found that that's made worse by jiggling around the horizontal AFC tube, so it looks like it's got a dirty tube socket. And there's still the outstanding problem of the audio. I'm not getting... Come to think of it, I don't think this pattern generator puts out audio. But the FM tuner ought to work.
get something out of it. Okay, that should be FM. Okay, that's phono. FM. Sounds like the amp's live. There's just no input to it. Yeah. Tone control. Yeah, the amp's live. Don't really know what this does either. This is tone, but it doesn't really say what that is. Just put it in the middle. I'm gonna hook up a DVD player or something to it and get see if the audio's coming through.